Hey, Dr. Gene Clerkin with Monadnock Natural Health here. We offer functional wellness and nutritional education programs, and our focus is mainly hormone and inflammation-based conditions, which are the precursor to all chronic health conditions, by the way. But if you're new to Monadnock Natural Health and this channel, I'd like to just introduce a few basic tenets or core principles of functional health and functional wellness. The first is that it's a root cause approach. We want to go to the reason why we got there in the first place. Root cause typically is numerous things for most people. There's toxicities, there's certainly nutritional imbalances, stealth pathogens, stress factors, things like that. We want to get to the why if we want to get things resolved. The second aspect is that it's holistic in nature. And holistic doesn't mean crystals and incense. It just means looking at the big picture, understanding that it's not typically one thing. And so if we've gone and I've tried nutrition and that didn't work, it doesn't mean that didn't work. It just means that you might have needed a bigger approach. And so typically we want to handle nutrition and we want to handle stress factors. We want to handle environmental factors, a holistic approach, big picture, right? The third thing is it's individualized. Two people may have the same diagnosis, Hashimoto's or a headache or whatever, and there may be different reasons they got there in the first place. So that's what's individualized. You may have the same condition or the same diagnosis, but you might have a different path to getting better by going to the root cause, your particular or individual root cause. So it's individualized. A functional approach works on building health rather than fighting disease. So the whole world is out there, most of your medical doctors and most of your natural practitioners are fighting disease, and there's a time and a place to that. But in a functional approach, we're actually building health. We're going to the core reasons why we lost our health in the first place and getting those handled, okay? And then lastly, it involves active participation, meaning you don't just go to the doctor and get something, then they tell you to take and you take it, but you're involved in the process. You understand what's going on, why you're doing things, and how do we get here in the first place. Again, because we don't want to go back and repeat the same old thing that we did in the first place. So we are going to be rolling out a new program in 2025 called Living Your Best Life, and that's in addition to our nutritional wellness programs that we have already. And in my 30 years of practice, over the years, I noticed some main attributes of people that were living their best lives. One is they had a vision for what they wanted in life. So we have to create a vision for where we want to go if we want to get there. Secondly, vehicle. You got to have, in this life, our body is our vehicle. And if it's not working, it's broken down, not performing at its top level, we're not going to be as efficient or even able to get to where we want to reach that vision. And finally, the last thing is verve. Verve is the passion, the commitment, the energy behind our purpose in life and why we're here. And so people that are living their best lives have passion for something in life. And so today, I thought we'd start on the vision piece. And when I was a kid, I was 16 years old, I remember going to Killington Mountain in Vermont skiing. And I was kind of a novice. And I was on this trail they call K2. And it's about that steep. And if you don't know what moguls are when skiers skiing downhill and they push the snow down, it makes these piles. They call them moguls. Well, on this particular hill, the moguls were the size of Volkswagens. And I remember this particular day because of what happened. But I was standing on top of a mogul, and it's like a 5-foot drop down to where I could, the next place I could land. And I would kind of scrape down and fall, and my skis would come off, and it'd snow my goggles, and I'd have to get myself up, crawl down and try to retrieve my ski and awkwardly get it back on. And then I would try to take the next mogul. And so I'm going down this hill one mogul at a time, and I realized after a short while that I'm never going to make it down this hill at this pace. I can't do this. And my friend's already gone past the sight line, so they're out of earshot. I'm all alone. I'm considering taking off my skis and trying to climb back up these moguls up to the top, but that's going to be a challenge as well. And I'm hoping maybe a snowmobile or like a rescue person might come along, but nobody's coming. I'm freezing. And I literally said out loud, God, what am I going to do? And God must have heard me, because I had this thought that came into my head, and it was, okay, there's a ridge over there and there's a few moguls between here and the ridge, just focus on the ridge. And when I did that, I was able to navigate the moguls and get down the hill. Completely changed. The reason I remember this day so clearly is because it completely changed who I was as a skier. From that day on, from that moment on, I was able to ski any hill. It wasn't like I was any better of a skier, but just because of where I placed my focus. And I found the same thing to be true in my life. If I focus on the obstacles, the challenges only, the moguls, they seem to get bigger and harder to get around. I just want to take my skis off and get off the hill. But if I keep my eyes on the prize, my personal life, professional, even my health endeavors, when I keep my eyes on the prize, the obstacles still come, but they seem to pass under me a lot easier. So it's really important that if we're going to start working towards some goal, that we have a vision for what we want in our life. If you're just like, well, well, I'm going to start being healthy this year. It's not going to happen. What do you want? And so I'm going to give you a little exercise that you can start with that will help cultivate this. And we do this with all the people that we work with that come into our office. I asked this question: if you were to look back at your life and everything was hunky-dory the way you wanted it, what would have had to have happened? And what you can do is list all the things that you don't like in your life. And that could be the symptoms, the physical symptoms that you have. I have extra weight, I don't have energy, I have brain fog, whatever it is in life. List the things that you don't like. And then what you do is you flip that to, if you didn't have this, in other words, if you didn't have a lack of energy, if you had all the energy in the world, what would you do with it? And then you make a list of all the things you would do when you weren't held back by the things that were holding you back. And that's your vision. And it might look something like, wow, when I get up when I go to sleep at night, my head hits the pillow and I sleep soundly through the night, and I wake up with abundant energy that lasts me through the day. When I walk by the mirror, I like what I see. I can fit into my favorite pair of jeans. I'm hiking, I'm biking, traveling. And the more details you put into this, the more powerful a tool it becomes. It's basically a vision board for your health and your life. And so you write that down, and the more details you put in, the more it engages your emotional system. And so you want to do that. So if I'm going to travel, for instance, if I say, oh, I'm going to travel, it's kind of ambiguous, but I say I'm going to go to Italy, to Cinque Terre, where you got to hike those 5 cities because you can't even drive to them. Now that paints a picture in my mind that's much more powerful of a motivator for me to keep on track. So put those things down, and what I tell people to do is doesn't have to be long, but put the details in it. Not the things that you don't want, but the things that you do want in life. Type that out, put it on your vanity or on your refrigerator. Every day you read it over and say, that's what I'm about. And that's a starting point. It's not the only thing you might need to do, but it's definitely a place where you want to start. Create a vision for what you want in your life, in your health, and then begin to work towards that. Dr. Gene Clerkin here, and I'm going to be sharing, again, weekly excerpts, and we're going to call it a blueprint to wellness. So please subscribe to our channel if you'd like. If you're looking for individual help, you can look us up on the web, monadnocknaturalhealth.com, or I'll put a link for a free discovery call in the description, and you could just check us out there as well. Hope to see you soon. Take care.